this computer. But basically, when my dad moved out of my studio, it's now kind of a blank canvas. So I guess as we were there and I was looking, for two things, was one was cool gadgets, but the other was how could I organize my studio differently to do different things? As Kim and I have talked about, when we're wanting to record videos, like the instructional videos, I had an idea yesterday, which was to turn this corner, let's see, oops, there goes. Yeah, I've got like this corner of my studio that I could turn into like a backdrop for video recording for instructional stuff. So I need some better storage. So that was my other goal, was to see if there were any ideas for storage. The other thing is I needed a desk because I can't get comfortable when I'm working. One thing I did find out as of yesterday, they have basically changed their entire desk lineup. So they said because people are working from home, they got two problems. People are working from home, so everybody's buying desks. The second one is they've got stuff stuck in ports, including stuff that can't get, I guess, through the Suez Canal. So they are having a problem with getting stuff out of it. Who would have known, right? But let me, I'll kick this off real quick. And I love that this starts out with a picture of all of us. Let me know, make sure you guys can see that. Everybody see it?
Yep, good.
Yay. Uh-oh, it's my dogs being inconsiderate.
Squirrel.
Squirrel. So anyway, so we all went to Ikea. We were masked up and ready to go. Oh, that was a slide that wasn't supposed to be there. Let me minimize. I'm going to have to minimize this real quick. Hold on one sec. Otherwise, it's going to be up here in the way of the presentation. There we go. Okay, there we go. So Kim, this was one of Kim's favorite things. So I'll actually, Kim, what do you said that you use these for glass sheet storage.
I use these for small sheets of glass, and I have one for greens, one for blues, one for oranges. And they're about maybe 11 inches wide, and then as tall as you need to be. So they just make really nice ways to organize your larger sheets that are maybe not big enough to go in your typical rack, but too small to go into the bins with your small bits.
They're very cool. Now, what are they made of? Are they actually cardboard, or?
I think they're cardboard.
You think they're cardboard? So
I think they're cardboard, yeah.
But nice heavy duty ones. And it said it was $5 for two, so $2.50 a piece. But I started adding things like glass books and bullseye catalogs. And then it had a little pole on it, so if you needed to pull them down off the shelf. Kim, do you keep these on a bookshelf or anything, or where do you store them?
I do.
Very cool.
And mine are open in the front. They're actually slip cases for large hardbound books that I used to own. And so there isn't the little short wall. So I can actually have pieces of glass that are a little bit wider than the container itself. I just love them.
Oh, very cool. So I got Kim to pose for this one. So she's like Vanna Whiting our containers.
You can turn them on the side and then you can see the glass.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. That is a good idea.
We hadn't even got 5 feet in the door when those were right there.
They knew we were coming. And it was in a vignette. You can see here, it actually was in a little office vignette the minute you walked in the door. Right past the nice smelling $1.50 candles that I bought 4. So, and then we saw this little mortar and pestle, $15. But as we looked at it, it says it's a marble pestle, but we thought that this might introduce impurities into your glass. Was the only.
Also worry about the glass flying a bit.
Yeah.
There's no lid on it, and depending on how you hit that piece of frit, man, things are flying.
Right. And I know if you do things like if you're doing enamels, you're actually using like a glazed ceramic one. So at first we saw this and I was excited about it, but I think it's probably not appropriate for glass. But I couldn't think of anything else to crush with it. And then the storage containers. And by this time I'm starting to notice the names. The Addleston, the Gliss, they get way better. But they had these nice ones, and they stack very well. They were $2.99 for 3, so about $1 a piece. And these were nice. I've actually used these for putting little pieces of nuggets, I guess, little pieces of Dichro, These are a good size for putting some Dichro pieces in. If I'd known that years ago before I mixed up my 90 and my 96 Dichro, that would be good. But ouch. So, but pieces of rods or stringers, they do close up and the top snap, and then they stack. And then Jenny found a set. There was another set I think that was blue and yellow, so they could be color coded, but these are all over the store. And this is one of my favorites, the studio cat storage. So just enough room to put your cat.
And then here's me who doesn't have a cat thinking, or you could probably put tubes of stringers in there.
Right? I think that would work. Yeah. Or if you have a small dog. Or
Very small.
very small. And then the pegboard system was really nice. And I actually had to do a little bit more research on this one, because when we saw it on the wall, it looked like a really big pegboard. But I found out that they've got different models. So for example, what you're seeing here is one that's 30 inches by 22, but there's actually two sets right there. So you can see the upper one and the lower one. And I don't know, oh, you can't see my cursor because I'm presenting on it. But on the left-hand side of that, you'll see that there's an X that's right there. And those were rubber cords. So you actually could do this little stretchy rubber cord thing, and you could, attach pictures or magazines or something up there, I guess. And then there's different models. So there were two different variations of this particular pegboard, but you could also get the extra panels that were 22 by 22 for $15, and they didn't have any accessories. If you wanted to know what it looked like, that's an example of one of them. But you can see it comes with a few cups and a tray and some clips. And that's what, that's basically one of the ones that was 35 or 36, actually 36 or 37.
So
But they were nice. What's that?
When you're done with this, we had a question on the bliss.
Yeah, what's the question?
How big are they?
The gliss?
Bliss, yeah.
I would guess, does it say there? I think it says
Like
6,
7.
maybe 6.5 by 4 inches. So probably, it was somewhere around 6 by 4.
The lower sign says 6 3/4 by 4.
Okay, cool. Very cool. So, but nice, yeah, nice thickness, and they were nice. Let's see. Oh, the other thing on this one is that it came in 3 different colors. So they had the white one, but they also have one that's kind of a natural wood color that was pretty. And I don't remember what the third color was. One
And
might.
they also had some, on the pegboard, they had some containers where like the lid stayed stuck to the pegboard and you just slid out the bottom of it. So if you wanted a container that was kind of like sitting there and you didn't have to keep taking it off or flipping a lid up, for more compact storage, they had some where you just slid out the bottom container part and the lid just stayed.
Those were nice.
Those were nice. And they were clear plastic, so you could see what was in them. And when I saw those, I thought of pins. If you were doing things where you had to dam something up and you were taking pins and going into the board, that might be a good place to store those. Maybe even X-Acto knife blades, but they were nice. The little slide out things. Here we go. This one. I wasn't sure what I would use this one for. It reminded me of something my grandma had, but it had space in the bottom. It was just kind of a funky little tray. And I thought you could throw tools in there, but it's not as good as another tool storage that Kim had found. And I also put Kirsten's ukulele, although I think I misspoke Kirsten on there. You could fill that with ice and beer, but probably not a good idea while you're working with glass. And then we did see this one. This one was shoe storage, but what was interesting is, I guess if this was anchored on a wall, that the width of it was nice. I want to say it was maybe about 36 inches or so, but you could possibly put sheets of glass in there if it were anchored to a wall.
And there are some other ones that, you can buy just the grids essentially, and they're smaller. So if you don't want to, you don't have full sheets of glass to store, you need something smaller, but you want to store them upright. There are some other others of these kind of things elsewhere in the store.
Yeah. You know, the other thing I didn't think of was the fact that you could turn it on its side and have vertical glass storage.
Mm.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. So, but anyway, if you wanted to do that, you would definitely want to anchor it so it's safe. And if you look at it, it looks like there's two racks, like one rack on top of the other rack. See the break in the legs right there, which I hadn't noticed.
Mm.
And then this one, I'm wondering too if this was actually up at Helios, if this is what they have up on the wall for the artwork on the wall,
Could be,
you know?
could be.
But it looks like it was about maybe a little over 21 inches. And I have another picture of it, but there's a groove that runs the length of the shelf. So if you were trying to display a piece of glass artwork, it's like a plate, has one of those grooves for holding plates.
Tracy's confirmed it is. What's up?
Okay, cool. Thank you, Tracy. So yeah, so about $10 for a nice, a nice shelf. It looks sturdy enough to hold a decent piece of glass, but I guess I have a piece up at Helios that actually is on one of those shelves and it seems to be holding pretty well. And this one, I wasn't sure. We looked at this one, but this actually has pullouts on it that are for shoes. The cabinet itself is not very deep. So it's maybe, I would guess maybe no more than 8 inches or so deep, but it's storage that tilts out. And anyway, $99, but it looked more like a piece of furniture if you were trying to, keep the studio looking neat.
Hey, Elena.
Food very fast.
Oops, hi there.
Hi, Elena.
I'm on mute. I'm so sorry. Hello.
Hello. We're looking. And the other thing I noticed too, and I might point out about this one, is I don't know about you guys, but as a glass artist, I don't have money for shoes. I only have money for glass. So, being a shoe storage cabinet, that's just not at all what I would want. So.
Yeah, and Kelly on the line is saying that she doesn't think it'd be sturdy enough for glass. She has one for shoes.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Another interesting thing, I don't know if this is a feature, but look at the legs at the bottom of it. There's only 2 legs.
What?
And I don't know if that's just part of the way they have it displayed, but I'd have to do more research. But and we even looked at this and thought about trying to put frit jars in there, but it's probably not practical.
Yeah, it just has those 2 legs at the bottom,
Yeah.
and then it screws into your wall pretty much. It has some
Okay.
hangers that screw onto the wall, and unfortunately, those little baskets kind of snap together, and
Ooh.
so they're kind of flimsy. And now it's held up very well for shoes in a small space, but I don't think it would work for glass. But
Not good.
but I wish it would. I really want it to.
I was thinking even books. Do you think it would be sturdy enough to put like some art books in there? Do you think?
I don't think so. But those little baskets are kind of wimpy.
They're wimpy. Okay.
Sometimes I really wonder if they're going to hold the 2 or 3 pairs of shoes. I don't have the one that has the 4 cases like this. I have the one that came out before this that's just a long bar.
Gotcha.
So it's all on one. So this might actually be sturdier by not having to span that full length.
I think
And how were you approached to do this kind of job?
I guess somebody's not muted.
How, is it called with me? Dwayne is your boyfriend. Was also,
Somebody's, thank you.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
he was the one that really got me to do it. If it wasn't for him, I probably would have never done it.
I think
He
that's
was
Lori.
all that. And a lot of these investigators that was out there came a lot from Dwayne.
Lori.
Meet emails.
As the moderator, you could mute her.
I can't because of the presentation. Let me get out of the presentation and I'll mute her real quick. Hold on. There it goes. Is Lori still?
Yeah, she's there.
Let me see. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hand this over to, I'm going to make some co-hosts. Okay, Jenny, you're now co-host. Kim, you are
While you're doing that, I just
Oh.
stalking your group from afar here in Florida.
Yeah?
Years wishing that I could come to Texas to it seems like Helios Studio always has the coolest things going on, and it's really nice to be able to join you guys online today, so thanks.
Oh, very cool. Well, nice to meet you, Kelly. So yeah, we have a lot of fun. It's a close-knit group. So we really just we miss going into the studio and hanging out, because I figured out my circle of friends over the years has dwindled from, you know, like my big, huge high school group of friends. I don't want to hang out with them anymore. It's like, you know, you get older, you choose your friends. And I think that, you know, being at the studio is definitely the place to be. So let's see, here we go. All right, so we have, oops, get out of here again. All right. I'm only working with one monitor tonight, so that's a change. All right, and then this one, I love this. Jenny saw this table and her idea was to put lights in it to make a short light table.
You have to understand, for those who don't know me, I'm under 4'10". Things that are short are appealing to me.
That's a great idea, because you could even cover it then with like white paper and use it to set glass on for photography.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. And it had the storage underneath. I guess it's a game table. But recently I've picked up some LED lighting off of Amazon that was like $12 that you could actually put it in those drawers and create a light table. Maybe even
Well,
light your glass from underneath.
They had LED lighting at Ikea too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would think you could do that LED on the side and tool storage in the center.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it could be multi-purpose and glass. And then I said, or beautifully display your frit jars on the side. Oh, and then this one, of course, the teapot, it has a very fine mesh here. It could be your frit and powder washer if you're into that kind of thing. But it's only small quantities. I don't know how practical that is, but that probably not drink tea out of it after that.
But you have to understand the experience of going to IKEA and everybody's, you know, thinking of things in the traditional way. And there's Kat looking at this thing. Frit washer. It's a very odd experience to be at the store with a different set of eyes.
Well, we decided to, I don't like to go shopping, but I was having a blast shopping. So I don't know what that says, but maybe it was just the company. So, and then of course I saw this and I'm like, this is a Vitrograph kiln holder right there. And it's decorative, but you know, drill a hole in it. But I think probably the fact it's wood, that's not really practical.
Probably a bad idea.
Kind of a drawback.
Kind of a drawback, but you know, it was pretty. It was really nice. And then this is where Kim falls in love with a cabinet to display her art. So,
Oh my God.
for those who haven't hung out with Kim yet, she likes retro things. So
Is that metal?
Yes,
It is.
Could that be a Vitrograph kiln holder? Without the shells?
Ooh. Ooh.
You know, the top is actually
Good
metal.
idea. Good idea. Interesting.
That's
They have
interesting.
some taller ones, and our local glass guild has purchased about 9 of these that we display jewelry in for our big shows.
Nice.
They're just beautiful. And they come in
And-
really interesting colors.
Some
Yeah.
of them have lights in the top, and we have a couple of handymen that have rigged lights in the other ones. On one of them, we actually need a battery because of where it's at. It's not close to a plug.
Right.
And so they can be kind of versatile. It's kind of fun.
That's really good.
Ours
That's
are
a cool
taller
idea.
than what you see here, though.
Are they? Yeah.
Tracy's making a good point in chat that you'd have to anchor it down somehow.
Right.
Put a kiln on it.
Oh, because it would be very top heavy too. So
Yeah. Would be bad
Actually-
to have that tumble over.
Those larger ones that we've got, that because the shelves are glass, that really weighs it down too. They're not top heavy, and we haven't had to worry about anybody tipping them over.
very cool.
Interesting.
Nice. Yeah, I bought Nathan Sandberg's Vitrograph. What was it? The Vitrograph Marini class the other day. So I need to actually put my kiln together and start doing some of that, or go up to the studio and just rent Vitrograph time. This one, let's see if I have a video.
Yep.
So I don't know if the video is coming across okay, but
Yeah, it looks good.
So I take these and turn it on its side.
oh,
And then you see how it's got a little lip. You can put it the other way around, and I store my 10 by 10 glass in there.
Oh,
Oh,
I
that's
have about
You do the
6
cool.
of
same
them.
thing. You can get similar ones like at Michael's without a lip and then just flip them sideways. It's a great idea.
Yep,
That's very cool.
these come out so you don't have to have the lip. And if you turn it on its sides, it's perfect for glass storage.
That would be
By 10.
awesome.
Yeah, I have quite a few.
Right? Yeah, and at 20 bucks, I mean, it seemed like a good buy. And then, you know, just the fact that with the cork on it was a nice feature if you wanted to put, you know, put tools in there. So I meant to get one when I went back, but I forgot. And I love the name, the Cavissel. So, all right. Then we have the adjustable electric desk. So if your eyes are going bad, you guys can't hear the sound on that, can you? Like when I was playing it, can you hear sound on the video?
I heard something about my eyes are going bad, but
Yeah.
it was very muffled.
Oh, hold on. Well, I'll leave it for now. I'll just I'll basically narrate. Let me try one other thing. Let's see.
Oh, Tracy has this table.
Does it go up and down with electricity?
It
Yes,
does.
it does.
It goes down to the shorty here. It goes down to 22 inches.
It does. So in
Yeah.
fact, you'll see Jenny in here. So if your eyes are going bad, you could raise this up so your glasses can near your eyes. I like how tall it is. And then there's Jenny at her size.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing all this cold working at the studio right now. I'm like, 22 inches. This would be awesome.
Yeah. So
That's great for working at home though, so you can stand up sometimes.
yeah.
And there are two sizes. This Kim's at the larger one, but there is another one for, I think, 50 bucks less. That's a lot smaller. So if that
Yeah.
was looking too big, there's the one that I was at was smaller.
Yeah.
Kind of fitting there, but
And the other thing is it's very wide. I don't know what the width is, but you know, like a normal table might be 30 inches or so. This might be a full 36 inches across. And maybe about 5 feet wide, because I did go back and buy one. It was an expensive day, but they are changing all of their desk offerings right now. So they didn't have a white top. It has sort of like a light oak top with the white
yeah,
legs.
to me is better.
What's that?
I'd rather have the oak top than the white one.
Yeah. And it was pricey, but you know what I was thinking is I keep having shoulder pain when I'm working at my desk. And since I got this, I put it together a couple days ago, and I can infinitely lift it to any height. My back pain's gone, and I've been paying for massages to try and deal with my back pain. And this seems to have fixed it, which, you know, is kind of a trade-off. Anyway.
And Tracy says it's good for cutting glass on. So.
Yes, because you can get any size with, or any height with it. And I think it does go down to 22 inches is the lowest. And I'm not sure about the highest.
It does. I thought it was like 48.
Is it? Hold on. I'm going to lift mine up.
It was pretty close to a Jenny height.
Okay, I'm raising it right now. Let's see. Okay, it's going up past my waist. We're up to my chest area. Oh my. Okay, it is the exact height of my chest. So,
it's helpful if we knew how tall you were.
I'm 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah, that's probably at 48 inches, I think.
It's pretty tall. So it's going back down now. So it's very quiet. It was not too hard to. What's that?
No, it'd be taller than that. Oh, now I have to look it up. Talk amongst yourselves while I look this up.
It's 47 and a quarter.
Okay.
Somebody else says.
Very cool.
By 31 and a half.
That's a big desk.
And I've noticed it's fairly stable. You know, when I looked at the one in the store, I thought this is really, you know, it was a little wobbly, but when I got it home and you install it correctly, it actually is very sturdy. So.
Does it have a power strip under it?
It doesn't. I mean, you could mount one underneath it, but the only thing that I think I don't like about it, let me go back. The only thing that I don't like about this one is I have seen electric desks in the past where the electric goes down through the leg And so the cord comes down at the bottom. This one, the cord comes down from the table itself. So I think it could be a little bit cleaner design, but this was also less expensive than some of the other ones that I've seen. So, and it does have a 10-year warranty. So I thought Ikea stands behind their stuff. So I bought it. But and then we found these. So we made our way over into another section where they had these lanterns. And we looked at it. It's of course a single thickness of glass, seems kind of thin, but as far as possibly removing the glass or some of the glass, you know, putting maybe a single thickness tack fused, or God, could you imagine taking, if you've done sort of a Richard Parrish class with the tapestries, could do maybe some tapestry strips in there would be nice.
Did they have the taller ones too, the square ones?
Funny you should mention that. I paid extra for that, but no, I love it, the Borby. So, but they had these, which were very similar. And then there was a taller version of it as well. But you could use, on these, you could use any size candle, but on the previous one, it was tea lights. So on that one, you had to use tea lights.
I've used the Borby a lot. If you get those, you just have to remember to not do your pattern in that 1/4 inch that's around the edge where the glass gets hidden, or it won't go in the little flaps.
Oh, very cool. Bonnie, is it easy to replace the glass panels, do you think?
Okay. Yeah, it's so simple.
Is
Yeah,
it?
it's wonderful.
So it's a 1/4 inch, so you can fit a 2-layer piece in there?
What I do is I take the glass out, and 3 of the sides are the same size. The door is a different size. So I just draw a pattern, and then I think it's about a 1/4 inch. You should measure it. But yeah, when I do my pattern, I leave an edge that doesn't have anything on it.
But no, what I'm saying is the clip on it is wide enough to put a 2-layer piece in there.
Single.
It's a 1 layer.
layer. Single layer with like tack or full on the center. I always do a tack. Do a lot of nature things, but I've done full too, as long as you don't go to the edges, so it has room.
Okay.
And you can always, grind it a little if it's not quite right.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking, it's like, could you glue things like nuggets and do a mosaic? But it seemed like to put glass on the inside would be much nicer, doing something like that.
Yeah, I just replaced the glass completely. So
Yeah.
that glass I use for other things then.
Cool. All right.
Bonnie, did you also use the one before that, the smaller one?
I have not. It's a lot. To me, it's a lot more work for the size.
Yeah.
Oh,
To be honest,
and 6
get better
panels.
value if I can do the other one. The other one used to come in white too, though. I don't know if it still does.
It did. Yeah, they definitely had them in white as well. So
We were getting pretty bleary-eyed by the time we got to this part of it.
my feet hurt. I wanted meatballs, darn it, and there were no meatballs. So
Well, they had the whole cafeteria closed when we were
we
there.
did. But when I went back the second time, I was able to go. Well, I was going to go to the cafe, but then by the time I got my desk on the cart, I didn't want to go all the way back because I got lost. Which they do on purpose, right? But lo and behold, they had bags of meatballs for sale at the checkout counter. So I bought 2 bags and then 2 jars of lingonberry sauce and some mashed potatoes and gravy. So I got to go home and have it, and it was a lot of fun. So let me see. I'll show you some of the other ones. I don't know if the video will come through on these guys. So we're in uncharted territory right now. Because I was recording this afternoon. There we go. So this was another one that we found too. The video may not play, we'll see. But what Kim had found were these, they had basically a base, a wooden base. And then it had this ring. And we were trying to think if maybe you could make a piece of glass that would fit in there.
It was just this funny little sculpture thing that looked like it had potential, but I couldn't figure out what to do with it.
Yeah. And of course, I looked at it and thought, with a 3D printer, I could make some brackets that could hold some glass, and yeah, what those were like $8 and in different sizes. I don't know.
You know what else you could do would be to decorate a little piece of glass and then drill tiny holes in the corners and suspend that with wire.
Right.
And make a decorative wire treatment.
Oh, that would be interesting. Can you guys see the video? Is it playing all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
So you could see that there were some different sizes of it. And then there was a smaller one.
Me carrying all Kat's stuff in the background.
Yes.
The
And that
glass,
was just the first trip.
that glass cabinet is nice as well.
It is.
Yeah. In fact, there's one of them here. Let me see. Oh, and then this was one. Kim, of course, fell in love with the shape of this one. And we were thinking if you could do anything with that to mosaic, you know, put mosaics on it, or if you could fire enamels on it was another thought.
Or put with some sort of a transparent glue to do designs with dots. And
Yeah.
Oh, that
then
would be cool.
with transparent glass, the dots would illuminate when the light is on.
You can make it look like a sea urchin shell.
Mhm.
I wonder if it stays cool enough that you could use like silicone glue and it would continue to hold.
That would be cool. And then this one, I think this one's called Calyx, if I'm not mistaken. But they have had this particular type of shelving for ages. I've got one that's a 5x5. There are different versions of them. If you ever go out hunting on Craigslist, there is a difference. So there's the Expedit, which is the older one. Record collectors want the Expedit because it's more sturdy, I guess. But they have these usually in different grids, like a 5x5 or a 4x4. And then they have all these accessories to go in them that you could put drawers in them or baskets. So it's kind of a nice storage solution. And they're pretty easy to assemble. I like those. You see what, oh, this was Kim demonstrating. That was that guy again. Hold on one second. There's the desk. Oh yeah, you can see there's the smaller version of the desk, so not as wide. Like that. And I fell in love with this. I decided that this is what I want my studio to look like, something like this. So you had those tall cabinets in the back that were nice.
Mhm.
Although I didn't see, okay, so it's saying like $350 for a cabinet, but with glass doors. And it looks like each one of those. So that's a pretty pricey wall right there. But I think it was just such an inspiring creative space.
When I first got married, I got cabinets from Ikea that were brown like
Yeah.
this, similar with the glass doors. And they are now in the studio and they hold all my fret.
Do they really?
And yeah, because they go three deep, so fine, medium, coarse, and I do them by color.
Yeah.
And then on the middle shelves, which are sturdier, I have some other supplies. So between the powders and the fret and it's all in there. It's great. And it's really pretty to look at too.
Yeah, it is nice. Bonnie, how do you think it's held up well? I mean, what about the quality of it? Do you think it?
Yeah, well,
quality?
I don't have this style, but a different one by them. Yeah, it's fine. The shelves don't sag. It's been fine.
Good. Yeah, that was my one concern, was if you put heavy stuff on it, if they would bend.
I actually think some of them are glass shelves, which is kind of weird, but they don't break.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tracy said she has hers on wheels and has bins in there to hold stuff as well.
Nice.
I like the idea of having a wheelie something that you can move around.
Yeah.
I like to be able to see, you just kind of look and you go, okay, I need to head that direction for that color. And then you don't have to sort through everything.
Right. Well, then it kind of becomes decorative in a way too, if you can see your colorful stuff in there. And it's contained. So my studio definitely needs containment. And then let's see, this next one that we found was kind of interesting. Let's see if it'll play.
So did you find anything that would hold like half sheets or quarter sheets comfortably?
Kim,
I don't think anything other than those those shoe racks, that just kind of have the metal rods to them.
Yeah.
That we showed earlier.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find something pre-made for half sheets.
Now this one, I don't know if you can see this guy right here. I guess it's a coffee drip, like a drip coffee thing. But what was interesting is how fine that mesh was. When we picked it up, it looked like it was glass.
Mm-hmm.
But it must have been some sort of laser drilled thing. It was pretty neat. I was thinking about it for me filtering resin on my printer. because you could actually wash that with alcohol or whatever.
It would be the same thing as the teapot, or the tea infused
Yeah.
with it. Or it could be a frit or maybe powder wash.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think if you wash your powders or wash enamels, that was a pretty cool thing. Let me see too. I'm getting a delay on this guy. Let me reshare this one on the screen.
You could also use it to wash footballs after you take them out.
That's a
Yeah.
good idea.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Looking at it, that'd be a great use for it.
right? I wonder if you soaked it in vinegar, like you just put them in there and then dunk it in vinegar.
Yeah.
Hold on one sec. I'm going to reshare this guy again. It was misbehaving. Okay. I think I was sharing with the Apple TV in the house and not you guys. So there we go. Yeah, and then this was an interesting one. I ended up buying one of these for my dad. Am I cutting out?
No,
Okay, cool.
it's like that.
So they have these in two different heights. So they had these that were fairly tall. You can kind of see Jenny over there to the side. So they
And
were,
remember, I'm 4'10",
so they might have been 4 foot tall, maybe.
probably about. It's like they come
About,
up, about
yeah.
that.
But I was impressed because I thought the drawers were actually pretty sturdy. And I ended up buying 2 of the shorter ones for my dad for under his desk. So I don't remember the
Sturdy enough to hold like scrap glass?
probably some. I don't know if I'd overload it, but you could definitely put different scraps in there. So maybe smaller pieces. That might be a good storage system for that. It does have it's kind of a laminate on the inside. So I don't know if that would scratch off, but you might be able to line it with something.
Yeah,
Maybe on the
Tracy's
side.
saying smaller pieces fit in there.
Smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did seem pretty sturdy. So I was impressed with how it was made. So, and Tracy, do you have one of these or one of the smaller ones? You say?
Says yes.
Oh, very cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, and are you storing glass in it? Do you think it's a good thing for glass storage?
Jewelry stuff.
Oh,
Jewelry
sure.
stuff.
Jewelry stuff. Very cool. Yeah, but
And
they're nice looking.
And Candace asked if we had the name of the product. I don't know if we got that.
Got one in my car, so I can't look it up right now, but I will make a note to look that one up real quick. The other thing to know is that, like I said, they're changing a lot of their office stuff. The dark blue now is more of a turquoise. It's like a dark gray turquoise. So they have changed that. Let me write that down. Bookshelf. Oh, and I can tell you the shorter one was $79 because I bought one for my dad.
Alex
This
is
is
in the
Alex.
unit.
Alex? Okay, cool.
One of the things I loved about looking at the tags and checking out the prices and the names of the products is that a lot of the times they actually put the name of the product designer on the tag. I just really appreciated that.
We were kind of seeking those out. We decided Kim needed to be a designer for Ikea, so kind of cool. Oh, there it is. And in fact, see how it says temporarily unavailable? That's because of the problem I was telling you about. But they do have some of the colors, like that dark blue one is now a dusty gray blue. And that one is, I think it's about the same price. And there's the designer right there. I have 2 hummingbirds outside. Yeah. That's
What a bad name.
Oh.
right. Anyway, so yeah, not a bad price. It seemed to be well made. Oh, in fact, there it is. So that's the one I ended up getting my dad, was the smaller one. But it's like I said, it's more of a turquoise kind of blue now, but still a nice stylish color.
I think it needs to be painted flamingo pink.
Flamingo pink. Oh, and then Kim found these. Okay, come back. There it is. Let me find it again. There. Oh, that's not it. Okay, hold on one sec. Let me
Yeah, that
find
was it. Said 20 seconds. Looks like it was a video.
Ah, I see it. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, 1 second. We've switched all of our TVs over to Apple TVs because Spectrum, they don't have cable boxes now. You use an Apple TV for your service. So if I try and put this picture up, it's like I keep accidentally hitting one of the Apple TVs instead of Zoom. But Kim found these, that they were a nice thin piece of plastic. It wasn't paper thin, but it was kind of a rigid plastic.
I'm not sure if they were like thin pliable cutting boards or like a pastry board for you to roll out your pie crust. But it was nice. I have no idea what I would do with it, but it is nice.
I was thinking stencil material, but it's expensive for stencil material. But I wonder if you could run that through a Cricut and actually cut it on a Cricut.
Carrie wants to know if it was silicone.
No.
Maybe? No?
No, it was more rigid.
Yeah, it was more rigid, more plastic.
Definitely more rigid. So, in fact,
Work surface for modeling glass.
oh, that's a good idea. A desk pad. I can't even pronounce that.
Walra.
In fact, I don't know if you guys noticed, when I did the slide, I was actually able to get the little dot over the A to make sure I was correct on these. And then these are all over the store. So these are like tablet holders. And they were what, like $1.99?
Yeah, they were really cheap, and they struck me, since we're doing so many more things online these days.
Yeah.
And, taking video classes and stuff, it would be a good thing. It's just kind of the right height to stick your tablet there. It would be upright. There's another side to some of these, what would be directly upright, like 90 degrees upright. That would be a good holder for your tablet while you're working at your desk.
Yeah.
On something that can follow the video.
So more vertical on that direction. As Kim demonstrates for us.
Like Vanna White.
You could see that, I mean, these are everywhere. They had, here's something to sit and work on your laptop. Here were some that would come apart, but out of bamboo. So let's see. Oh, there's the grid again. This was a different configuration. Oh,
Yeah,
there's those containers.
Yeah, the ones where you just slide out the bottom of the container.
Yeah.
And it stays on the pegboard.
Yeah, except for I bumped into one and it fell off and we lost the container. So, but if you look at that, that is the 22 by 22 inch panels. There's 4 of them there. So that
you guys are in the office section here. May I ask if you looked at the floor protectors?
I didn't see it.
Okay, so those great big floor protectors, I got one, put it out in my driveway, let the heat get to it, then I could cut it with some scissors.
Right.
And I put it under my grinder. So it's under my grinder and goes up the wall. So it's my splash guard. So I thought I'd share that with you. It works really well.
That's a great idea.
At least for the back. Doesn't do so much for the sides, but I've also thought about the part that I cut off if I wanted to try to prop it up somehow on the sides to make a curved surface. But I think it was $5 or $6. It wasn't bad. And it gave me a lot of surface to cover for my grinder.
Very cool. Very cool. And then we did see this, not that anybody might have a need for it, but they're actually selling these little, I guess, dividers if you're running a business, or need some sort of divider, you can get it and it clamps onto your desk. So if you're afraid of your family and you want to like keep them away.
Is that, that would work for grinder too. Is that expensive?
Let me look. Did I put a?
You'll also be able to craft show if you are able to use it.
Oh yeah. I didn't. Yeah, I don't see. I want to say it was like $30 or so, 34 maybe, is a guess. but seemed nicely made. And I think the nice thing was that it just clamped to the table. But yeah, for an art show, that would be great. And then Kim, you said, do you have this?
Or to start doing classes quicker at Helios.
I do not.
Yeah. Don't Kim, or not Kim, but Jenny, do they have dividers at the studio?
No.
No, okay.
You could put more people in there and do bigger classes if you did.
Right.
Well, I think part of the, well, I may have this wrong, but I think part of the philosophy also is that vaccinations are coming so fast and furious now.
Yeah.
You know, Texas opens up to anybody, any adult on Monday. That by the time we spent the money on it, you know, we'd be in a different situation anyway.
Right. Cool. Oh, and these little things on the wall, these dividers right here, these were actually metal. So those were kind of nice. I love that wall color too, by the way. I thought that was pretty.
I have something like this in my studio where I put my stencils, large stencils, pages out of magazines that I mean, they're for file folders.
Right.
So you can store anything flat in them.
That's very cool. And they were very neat. I think it's a powder coated metal, so they were nicely made. I don't remember the price on that one though. I didn't write it down. Kim, I have this. It's here at the house.
I still don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I love it.
Well, when we saw this, we saw kind of like drain lines. Like if you were cold working, maybe something, it might, you would drain the water away onto what?
I'm still working out the yin yang.
Thinking I could.
Carrie, it's a flexible plastic that has some texture on it.
Yeah. So it seems like it would grip.
Sort of like a flexible cutting board.
Yeah.
But it has grip.
Yeah.
Or was it a placemat?
And I think it was $4 or something.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Protects. I think that was it. Protects tabletop surface. It was $2.
EVA plastic, whatever EVA is.
And then they had blueberry drink concentrate right there, which I'm actually drinking right now. I mixed it with some Topo Chico and it's really tasty. So get a little fizz, some blueberries. Ah, and this is my favorite. So these little guys, I think were $29 if I'm not mistaken. Don't know if we can zoom in and see. Ah, there it is, $29. It does not come with the cups. I think the cups were about $2 a piece, but I use this next to my jewelry bench for waxworking stuff. So this is where I have, oh, I don't know, just random things. I've also used it as a painting cart.
There's nothing for you here.
So for example, I had a cup of paintbrushes and was able to use that when we were staging the house as a painting area. And then the little cups now that hang off the sides, those are $2, I think, and there are no holes. They used to have little things that would hang off the sides that had holes. These are actually solid. So those were kind of nice. They come in black and also I think a bluish color. Yeah, you can see the inside is nice. And let's see what we got here. This is Kim playing with, oh, we shouldn't play this one.
No. Move along.
Move along. We noticed that this was a garlic press, but the other thing that says product was a stirrer, but we noticed it kind of vibrated a little bit. So we were wondering if you could, vibrate the bubbles out of, I don't know, plaster or whatever, but probably not practical.
Freeze infused was a big one I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, freeze infused to knock the bubbles out. And it wasn't very expensive. I want to say it was under $10. Let me see. Okay. And it is, let me reshare again. Just lots of containers, probably more than anything we found containers.
Yeah, what we were surprised about is we had really expected to go wild in the kitchen section. And we found almost nothing in, other than what we've shown, but like the kitchen gadget area.
Yeah.
We were kind of skunked there, which is
yeah. We did find, like these buckets, these were heavy enough for probably scraps. If you had those buckets of clear scraps and maybe you were casting or anything, those were really nice. Kind of heavy.
Stringer tubes. I think they're long enough for stringer tubes.
Stringer tubes. Oh, that's what, yeah, Jenny was looking at that. So Halabar.
Yeah, those were nice.
Those were really nice. And I think different size. There it is, a bin with a lid, and they were $4 a piece, which was not bad.
Yeah, well, they ranged in size. They had smaller ones that were a couple of dollars. I think the larger ones were about 6 or 7.
Yeah,
I
but
think
they
that was
stacked
probably
well.
6 or 7.
Yeah, it had a very, it had a sturdy lid on it, so it seemed like you could stack things. You know, maybe even for casting plaster, that might be good storage for plaster as well. Oh, I can report back and say that these were kind of a waste because I'm thinking, you know, I could put an orange in there, but the truth is I always eat the whole orange, so it's kind of senseless. But they were really cute, and I got them, and I probably won't use them if anybody wants them. And then we kept finding things with like patterns. We kept thinking, you know, sifting powders and things, but these were shelves, like little shelf sets for lifting things up. You can see they came in different sizes. So people have been touching that one on the right. Ooh. So $6, $7. We like those. Oh, and then our favorite. Uh-oh, hold on.
Oh, Tracy had a good idea with those little sidebar containers, which is
What's that?
filled with water, use them for scrubbing off kiln wash and fiber paper.
Oh, that's a good idea.
They're watertight.
Okay, come on. Hold on 1 sec, sharing again. It's like, and this was our favorite part. One of our favorite products we saw, and it all of a sudden screwed up. Let's see if we can get it going. There we go. There we go. What did we come up with this? This was the freeze and fuse workstation.
Right. Little tiny freezer. It was so cute.
So it had a sink, you know, kind of a sink, but then a place for a tiny refrigerator. So that's what we dubbed the freeze and fuse workstation for your studio. You like that? And then we did find this. What did we figure? This was hanging on the wall, like you could hang things.
This was the other thing. This is the smaller one, that like the shoe rack that we were thinking glass storage, you know, sheet glass. Put a couple of these.
Right.
Went out the wall, and you can vertically, you know, you can store them standing upright.
So we used dripping.
Right. I think we talked about doing this with if you were doing lost wax casting, that you could use this under, you know, over a pot with you were steaming. That might also be a good use for that. Put your little steam guy underneath. And we did see this. It was actually used. It was a grid system that you could hang things on the wall. They showed it in one of the kitchens, and it had hooks that went with it.
Is it stainless steel?
I think it is, yes.
Because if it's the right grade, could you use it for like weaves, or is it too wide?
It's pretty wide.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty wide.
It's probably what, about 2 inches?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can see there on my
1.5, 2 inches.
Yeah. Oh, this was in the kids section. I never expected to find anything useful over there, but there were paintbrushes, and they were cheap, a couple bucks. Oh, and my other favorite one.
Best thing in the entire store. There's the what glass do I use today wheel. No?
So,
That's perfect.
so we joked around.
Spring green.
Spring green. So we decided we could actually write the colors. So when we're having those creative block days and we don't know what color glass to use, we could actually write the names of the different colors of glass and then just spin the wheel and figure out what glass to start out with. So it was the color selector. I liked that one. Oops, not sure what that one is. There it is. And then Kim, you were talking about this one. Was it cold working?
Yes, yes. If you're cold working on something small, then this would contain your grit and your glass and your water.
Right. And was that a lid to something else, or was that actually like a little tray?
Oh,
Great. No, it does look like
I think it was a lid. I think it was a.
Well, if you look on the right side of the screen, it looks like it's the lid on the black box there.
Wait a minute, is that box 59 cents? How did we miss that?
Might just be the lid that's 59 cents.
I think the lid next to it is 30 cents. I hadn't actually seen a cent sign in I don't know how long. Oh, check that name. Up Snodfed. There we go. Pretty cool. Yeah, there it is. There's a delay.
Just like it sounds.
Because it's kind of salty.
But it looked nice. It had kind of like a handle on the sides that was nice. At 30 cents, that's not bad.
Right?
Tim has just spied some glass.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Tim has just spied some glass.
Oh, and it's the wrong direction. Yeah, Kim was saying that she doesn't think this is compatible glass. So we were analyzing the use of their materials in their piece. It was kind of cool.
I'm going to start carrying a piece of polarized film with me.
Oh, glue dispensers. We figured out you could put bullseye glue in here and use it as a glue dispenser. Although that doesn't really make sense because you didn't want to set it on the table. Okay, never mind. That was a bad idea.
It would actually make sense if you're teaching classes and you're dispensing little cups for each of your students.
That is a good idea.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea. So, and then we have the cat house again, more studio storage, more cat storage for your studio kitties. Notice that
It has studio dogs, and there's nothing for studio dogs.
Well, what's that? That's a studio dog right there.
Are those cloth?
They were, yes.
Could they work as a photo box?
Did that feed you?
I don't see why not. Although they wouldn't let light in, you'd have to have light somehow.
Okay.
So, but they're pretty cool. Oh, and then Kim found these guys. Kim, what were your thoughts?
You could cut a little piece of transparent glass in a circle or a hexagon or something and stick it in between the little plastic sides with a dot of glue, and you could get little illuminated glass designs on your wall.
Ooh, different colors. I want to say those were maybe about 15 bucks if I remember.
Yeah.
That could be fun. And then we got obsessed with lamps. So hold on, there's one that Kim, this is the one that Kim was really liking.
I love that.
And
I don't,
go ahead.
Did we ever find a box for that with, or just the showroom model that was on the ceiling?
We found the box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we were going to take it to the studio and see what mold it fit in, so we were sure we could clamp it on there.
Right. Yeah, and it tells us it doesn't tell us the size, but we thought that you could, do a single thickness of glass, maybe tack fuse or something, and then basically switch out that glass piece. That could make a really interesting light. If anybody had been to the studio, Paul had made something years ago that was actually a fixture from Ikea that had a flat piece of glass that he did a soft fuse. Would you say that was a soft fuse of I think almost like a mosaic of coffee or something?
He used to teach a class on that, but they don't make the fixture any longer. They haven't for a long time.
Yeah. And then this was the one I was wondering, you'd have to take it apart to see, but it seems like if you created a piece of glass and then drilled the hole in the middle, if you're able to actually drill a hole and then mount it on this, it seems like you could just use like one of the ball molds, like a large ball mold maybe, and only have to cut one hole. So that might not be bad. So those were just kind of, oh, and I love this one. I ended up buying this one because of course I need it. I'm bad with time. But the interesting thing is that this was a clock that was $1.99 for a clock. And the interesting thing is that there is a component, in fact, let's see, there is a component in the clock. See, there it is, the trauma for $1.99. But that little mechanism right there, if you buy that at Michael's, is about maybe $7 or $8. So if you just bought it to sabotage it for the clock movement, you can make your own clock with that. So that wasn't bad. Then these guys, I actually picked up on these. I used these a few years ago for a show. And the top, there's no glass on this. It actually is an open box. There's an inner, I guess, an inner spacer. So when you buy it, there is a piece of glass. So it's a shadow box. But what I did is I used this and I switched out the backing on it with different pieces of scrapbooking paper. And so I used them as trays with my jewelry at different shows. And then if I felt like changing the color up, all you had to do was switch out the paper, or you could put felt or fabric or anything that you want. But it made a nice way to sort of contain your pieces and display them. It also comes in black. So mine were black with green, of course. And those were not all that expensive. You see, so like $5. So you can see right there in different colors. And then there was another one, if you
So Kat, before you go on.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a rabbit edge there that you could put a piece of glass in.
There is actually. So what happens, you can see right there under that edge. So that piece you're seeing on the middle of that is actually, it's a spacer. And you can remove that. And so you
it comes out.
Yes. And what's nice is you can move the glass up and then actually put the glass at the top, or you can move the glass to the back. So it's flexible. So all I did was remove the glass, and I just used those as open containers to display my stuff. But you can also have glass on the top. Although if you were trying to display jewelry where people were actively getting into it, it would be probably a little bit harder to do. So, because you'd have to pick up the box and basically pull the thing from the back side of it to do it. Might be able to be modified though. And then those were plain, but there was a different variation that had an edge that was a little more decorative. Something like that. And those guys were also $5. So if you were looking for some cheap displays for something, I know, for example, like Susan Hutsko, whenever she's displaying her dichro pieces for a class, you know, she has a big display case that she was putting them in. You could easily mount some pieces in one of these, and if it was just for show, that would be kind of an easy solution. Not too expensive. Oh, and I fell in love with this candle. They didn't have any. So these you've already seen. There's the white one, or a white one. And then also the taller one. So this was a different size, a different style, but generally in that $10 to $20 range, which was nice. And then we started looking at these. Early on, we had fallen in love with these guys, thinking, oh, you could use these as stencils, but they're generally curved. Or it was maybe more expensive, you didn't want to cut it up. But I think these were a couple bucks. These weren't real expensive. So if you wanted to cut them up, but I think that it would actually, if you looked at that and if you cut it, I think the whatever paint treatments on it would probably flake off.
Yeah, what about the picture of the owl?
Of the owl? Oh,
remember the owl?
Yeah, hold on.
A little bit early on.
You'll have to bear with me as I go through my. I was watching a new show. There was a lizard that was flying in high winds. I was just fascinated by this. So hold on one second. Let me find this guy.
It was at the beginning.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we saw it again at the end, but I think when you took the picture, it was at the very beginning. In the first couple of bedrooms or something.
I thought it was, oh, there it is.
There it is. There it is.
This is one that we fell in love with, but it's plastic. But the other thought we had was if you could sandblast on, say, like a drop vessel. You know, maybe even, gosh, Manny is the king of layered circular things. But it makes you wonder if you had thin layers of color, you know, stacked it up and then did some sort of a melt and then did a drop vessel, if you could go in and then sandblast selectively and maybe even make it so you could sandblast through to different colors, which is kind of an interesting idea.
In theory, you can. I've patted down into them before.
Have you? Because your layers are incredibly thin too. But
originally, before I started figuring out some of the stuff I do now, I used to pad my way down into some of the layers.
Gotcha.
Reveal what didn't show at first.
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting thought when we saw it. So, and I think Yeah, I think that's it. That's all we had. Oh, I did find one more cart. Let me show one more carton, and that's all I've got. There was a stainless steel cart that made me think of maybe something for kiln furniture. We saw a lot of things you might be able to use for kiln furniture. But here it comes. Okay, here it is. So I found this cart when I went back the second time. There it is. But see, it has that grid on the back. There's that hanging grid with some of the hooks.
Mm.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that these shelves lift out so you could actually wash them.
I like that one a lot.
I do too. Let's see, $149 though. But it was stainless. It was really a nice piece. And then we had seen this one in one of the bathroom vignettes, but that was a little bit less expensive one. And it had this thing on the top that there it is, making everybody dizzy. But they had this on the top that had some compartments. And I'm not sure how I would use that, but they did have a lot of carts. And I think that cabinet that's right behind it is also a metal cabinet. I think we looked at that one as well.
Mm.
Kind of interesting. Oh, and plants. We lost all of our plants in the freeze. So we're like, whoa, $15 plants? We could replenish our entire house with $15 plants. So I think that's it. But if you've never experienced kind of what those aisles look like, I was telling these people, no, I'm not putting you on video, but it's just floor to ceiling stuff, row after row after row. So I guess that's it.
It was a fun day.
It was nice to get out and do something normal. Oh, here's the color. Remember I said that they're changing colors on those, the dark blue.
Every time we saw somebody without a mask, we're like, running like 3 aisles away, like, Miss B, she doesn't have a mask on.
Oh my God, no. Right, yeah, we were kind of a little weird about that. Oh, there was one other thing I was gonna show you too.
Very dedicated of you guys to chew through that box to show us the color.
I ended up buying that box because my dad, my dad at his assisted living, he had a leak and all of his office furniture expanded and now has mold. So the drama never ends. Oh, and then this was one of the newer updated desks, by the way. So you can see if you didn't need it to be infinitely raisable, it actually did raise in smaller increments, but that was a nice, really heavy duty desk. So a little bit thicker. Anyway, but that's all I got.
So how close is the ship to getting dislodged from the Suez Canal? Does anybody know?
It said days to weeks.
Days to weeks.
Days to
They're in
weeks.
a state of denial.
What's that, Nanny?
I said they're in a state of denial.
Oh my God, that's terrible. That is terrible.
There's
Yeah,
an
I
IKEA very close to me, and they've been out of stuff long before the ship got stuck.
That
Oh,
right?
seriously? Yeah, they said it's sourcing materials. They said there's just a lot of things. It's like the perfect storm of the the perfect storm of just all these things going wrong. Okay, if you guys aren't familiar with the ship stuck, not that it's relevant, but let's see. See if we can get it there. All right, there we go. So there is the ship that's stuck sideways in the Suez Canal. But apparently it's stopping a lot of shipping traffic. The traffic is gone.
It's something like 9 billion a day or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, it's something crazy. But
Cat, from the top, it looks like pattern bars. Look
it
at
looks
the
like
top.
what?
This ship from the top, it looks like pattern bar slices.
Oh my God, you're right. I think it's inspiration for art. You need to get on that, Elena.
I love pattern bars. I
Right.
make them, I cut them up, I leave them on my table, and I wonder what to do with them next.
Oh my God. Wait, I just looked closer too. Guess what? I think it's inspired by Richard Parrish. Hold on. You'll
It
see
looks
what I
like a
mean. What? Look at this.
Tapestry.
Yes.
It's a Richard Parrish.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
It's a Richard
That's awesome.
Parrish tapestry piece. Wow. You know.
Oh,
Oh, did you want me
That's
to text you
funny.
that picture?
Yeah, send me the picture. Oh, I'm sorry. That's my dog.
Oh my God. Anyway, so that's all I've got. Kim, any thoughts? Jenny, any thoughts?
No, the big one is just, kind of our surprise at not finding more in the kitchen area. And I don't think it was just because we were, winding down and kind of tired by that point. We were expecting to find all kinds of kitchen gadgets to use, and it was just a big bust.
I was hoping you were gonna have found stuff with like designs in it that we could use for sifting powders.
Well, I think that's part of what we were expecting.
We were hoping, yeah.
When we got to the kitchen gadgets, and it just wasn't there that day. I don't know if it's, in general not there, or if it's part of the whole supply issue, but we were just surprised.
Yeah. Well, I think by the time I got to that area, I had meatballs on the brain, so I wasn't even thinking. It's like meatballs. So, and I did put them in the Instant Pot air fryer. If you air fry them, they're quite good. So, with lingonberry jam, it's all good. So, let's see. I'm looking at different. Let's see, Claudia. Claudia says she doesn't have an Ikea anywhere near her. So I wonder, do they deliver? Can you actually order online and they deliver?
Yeah.
I would assume so.
It would make sense. Oh, there was one. In fact, we forgot to look. Jenny, you had mentioned too, was the ceramic dishes to sandblast and use them as slumping plates.
Yeah, we did forget to look for that because we were looking for a replacement for one in the studio because we needed to slump some stuff, and we think somebody's borrowed one and just hadn't returned it. We totally forgot to look for them there.
Gotcha.
Because we do have a couple of bowls that we use. I think it's the Fusing with Friends stuff that we have an IKEA kind of tray that it's a little bit of a sushi like slump to it.
Yeah.
It's an IKEA tray that's just been sandblasted and kiln washed.
That's right.
If you don't sandblast them, can you still kiln wash them? I don't have a sandblaster, but I've been wondering about that.
Yeah, that's what you do is you sandblast off the ceramic coating.
No, I mean, if you don't have a sandblaster to get the ceramic coating off, can you just put kiln wash on it? Will it work?
You might have to etch it.
Etch it? Okay.
Diamond hand pat it. I bet you can diamond hand pat it down or something. I don't know if the kiln wash will stick to the ceramic coating.
You know what might be an option is using that Armor Etch, that glass etching cream, if it would give it just enough tooth to apply kiln wash and, do a couple coats. It's worth experimenting with.
You can use zip instead. I assume that means it goes over the porcelain. You don't have to sandblast it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tracy.
Just use zip over the glaze.
Oh, wait, hold on. Did Tracy answer the question?
Yeah, she said just use zip over the glaze.
Okay, zip, ZYP. She said use that over the glaze. Perfect, thank you. So I have not used it. What is zip? Is it just an etching cream or is it etching?
No, it's a release agent. But the problem is once you use zip on something, you can't go back to kiln wash. So it's one of those kind of release agents.
Hey guys, Creative Paradise did a thing today, which is probably up on their website, talking about Primo, what am I trying to say? The kiln wash versus zip, and the one that comes in the can and the one that's water-based that comes as a spray. It was really very interesting. You might want to go check.
I found it. Found one. Here we go.
Thank
So
you.
zip coatings. One is boron nitride.
Right.
No.
But they make a water-based one and then they make one that's I don't know, some kind of alcohol or something based.
We just tend to use the
Me
one in the
too.
spray can.
Oh,
That's
what?
we sell. I think we just use the one in the spray can. I think that's what we sell at the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I think I have a can of, wait, I could go check my bathroom. I think it's in the bathroom.
I don't, do we want to know why you're using zip in the bathroom?
I think, well, you never, I mean, it's my art studio. It's not really a true bathroom. It's, you know, it's where I melt metal and things like that. Cause
Keeps the mold off the tile. It won't stick.
yes, that's what I meant to say. I think that's so. Yeah, so cool. I was not aware of that name. So let's see. Oh, and then Leah says, Deb, I got a set of bowls at Walmart. So that's a good place to get some. And it looks like Bonnie's heading out. But yeah, there was lots of stuff there. 1 second. And then Elena just sent a, oh, hold on, let me send this over. Airdrop it to myself. Elena sent a picture of a bookcase that she says is good. Here it comes. Share this guy.
I don't know if it can hold things well, but it's got 3 drawers and a couple shelves. I think 3 drawers and 3 shelves. It looks kind of interesting.
Let me see if I got it. Where did it go?
And I want to see how you say the name for this thing.
Uh-oh.
Because that's pretty funny.
Okay, I'm trying to get it over to my computer. I usually have 2 monitors when I'm working and I've only got 1. So I'm like, I don't know how to work this anymore. There we
So
go.
while you're doing that, Carrie Colette, sorry if I've mangled your last name, says she's done a modular closet thing for the studio.
Yeah.
And willing to post a video if we're interested. I would be.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so there's the one that, oh my God, Falkinga.
Yes, it's expensive, but it's dual purpose. You've got shelves as well as drawers.
There was another one too. In fact, I'm aware of this because one of the pieces of furniture that got damaged at my dad's was called, it's called a custom room plan. Apparently there's a whole Facebook group, fan group for these silly little cabinets he's had for years. Let me see if I can find one. Oh, here it is. Let me airdrop this to myself. Take a second. Nope. Okay. All right, see if you guys can see this one. Stop share. There you go. This was another one that we saw. So in Ethan Allen terms, this is called a custom room plan, but it has the cabinets down below. So you have storage down below and then the glass cabinets on the top. And I don't know, I mean, that looks a little bit expensive though, if you see it. Like that guy right there's $885. So you're bumping into some money on that one. Yeah. But
and I would think in a glass studio, you need stuff that if it gets wet and it stays wet, you're not gonna, you know, die and scratch with glass and glass powders and that sort of stuff. I'd be worried about putting something that's that nice and expensive.
Yeah.
You know, in a glass studio work area.
I agree. So, in fact, I was looking at a desk listing for my dad the other day at Office Max, and it said it was laminate. So they actually called it laminate. But if you looked at the reviews said that it was a paper laminate. And so it was, people were saying after a couple months, it was actually peeling off, that the finish was peeling.
Where was this?
It was a desk that my dad had found at Office Max or Office Depot.
Oh.
And so it looked like a really nice desk, but it wasn't all that expensive, but it was particle board. But in the description, it described it as laminate. But if you looked at the actual piece, it was paper. It was basically paper masquerading as laminate. So, you know, it was cheap, but not something you'd end up keeping.
Yeah.
Some folks in the chat are saying that they like the Ivar from Ikea, and I just looked it up. It's really cool. Look up the Ivar system.
Okay, got it. Oh yeah, I saw that. Hold on one second.
That's not that expensive.
That's not bad.
No,
And
and you can put it together in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
I took the narrow one, the 12-inch one, and I stacked the short one on top of the 24-inch one,
right,
which was counter height, so that I had, a set that kind of thing.
Right. Look at that.
And they make corner units too, which are wonderful.
This is nice. It's the Ivar is the name.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
How
there's
wide is that? I think we looked at that, but it didn't look like it was wide enough.
no, look at this one.
Yeah, deep enough.
Is that a paper wall? Like
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Sorry, I'm having a moment to myself over here. That's very cool though. Look how the it's like a Murphy bed of art spaces. Oh.
Love that.
Okay, don't tease yourselves here. You know you're not gonna put that up ever. You know that's gonna be covered with stuff, right?
Yeah. I was thinking the exact, I was thinking the exact same thing.
That's really, really, really cool. But so when my parents lived in the Netherlands, one of the things they noticed is that as people moved, they would leave their place and they would actually just put all the furniture out at the curb. It's like they didn't take their furniture with them. Things were fairly disposable. It was interesting. But, oh yeah, all sorts of things here. I guess it's like a pie safe almost. Interesting with the mesh on the doors. The other thing I noticed too is they do some sort of space planning as well. I don't know if they would plan your space with something like this, but I know they have stations where they would help people. There's the corner right there.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I did notice it's totally unfinished because that was actually behind where my desk was.
Mm-hmm.
So some of this might have to be sanded. I noticed a little bit was, it was a little bit rough in some places, but still. $13 for a corner shelf, that's certainly affordable too.
Well, that's one shelf.
Right.
It looks really good too with the Minwax has some color stains like purple and dark blue and stuff. You can have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I like that. Look at that. And you've got some cabinets, you've got the corner. That's pretty cool.
Well, I had maple cabinets that I had in my old studio. And when I moved, I just brought those. So they're the base.
Right.
For the center part, where I do the cutting and all my working and stuff. But then these go all the way around the wall and into the closet.
That's really nice. And then they have a lot of these containers too. Just like the little bins and things that you could put there. This is a nice setup.
Oh, look at that one with the table.
I like it.
I love how mix and match it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And see, oh, look at that right there. You could just put chalkboard paint right there. So when you're thinking and planning.
That's a great
idea. Well, and it goes together really easily.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you buy the two end pieces.
Right.
And then the shelf goes on and hooks it together.
That's really cool. I'm so glad you shared that because that's, as I embark on trying to reclaim my art studio and do something to make it actually usable. But that would be cool. Yeah, that's neat too, how they mix and match with the different colored pieces as well.
Mm-hmm.
More shelves. Cool. So when are we going back? When's our next day?
Yeah.
4 weeks.
Oh, right. 4 weeks. I'm feeling invincible. So.
Well, yeah, you've got 2 weeks. I've got 4 yet.
Is it 2 weeks or is it 4?
Well, no, for you, it's 2 weeks after your last shot.
Gotcha.
My exhale day is April 19th. That's what I know.
I like that. The exhale day. Oh, See, and I see this one right here as an opportunity to display some beautiful Kimbrel artwork on those little shelves.
I love that piece. I love how weird, it's weird. I love it.
And it even has your bins down here for your lap. So that's cool. All right. Anyway.
All right, where should we go shopping next? We could go to the Container Store. That'd be fun.
Ooh.
How often do you guys meet?
How often do we meet?
Mhm.
You mean in
Online,
person?
I mean, how often do you meet online?
Usually every 2 weeks. Yeah, every 2 weeks we try and get together. I think in the beginning it was every week, but we ran out of content, so we're always looking for ideas.
If anybody wants to show their work or talk about other forms of art that you might do side by side with your glass, we've had some interest in that sort of thing. We're always looking for people to be our guests.
Are any of you lamp workers as well as fusers?
Oh, I wish.
I have been, but I was really bad at it. So
I am.
You are?
Yes.
Is that Carrie said that? Was it
Yes.
Carrie? Cool.
Yes.
That's cool.
Oh, let me stop sharing. So what kind of lamp working do you do? Do you do, is it mostly beads or are you doing anything else?
Mostly beads.
Mostly beads?
I've done a few sculptures out of boro. I haven't done a whole lot lately.
Yeah.
During the shutdown here, I've taken a couple of classes from Lydia Mule on doing little perfume jars.
Ooh.
And so if I get 5 minutes, I'm going to be playing with that.
Oh, that's fun. Now, where are you located? Are you?
I'm in Utah.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to see pictures of art, look on Facebook for Glass Art Guild of Utah.
Oh, you guys
And
have a
you
nice
can-
group.
It is really a nice group. I'm very fortunate to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Those guys, we do this, it's called Glass in the Garden. Red Butte Gardens, which is part of the University of Utah, does a show for us every year. We're the only group they'll do a show for every year.
Really?
But it's because we make them a lot of money. But you can see pictures on there of our exhibits, and you'll see some of those Ikea jewelry shelves there that we
Cool.
do our, and the shadow boxes. There's a gentleman in our group that does, he showed us how to do it. He does 3 layers of glass in those shadow boxes.
Really?
And then puts LED lights around the side and wires it to a switch. And they're just awesome. They're so cute. And I've got an idea for one that I want to do, but I need a deadline. I'm not very good. I actually last night landed a show in June. I can't wait. And I think I've got one in July too. So they're both outdoor shows, but I'm okay with that.
I'm craving an outdoor show of some sort.
I want to get back to selling.
Yeah. I want to go shopping somewhere and just go look at art stuff somewhere. I want things to be back to normal. I just found something too. I told you guys about LED lights. So this was the one. So this one, I think when I bought it from Amazon, I think it was $11.98. It's gone up a little bit, but it also has a Bluetooth controller and it has an app on your phone. So you can bring it up on your phone and tell it to switch lighting or make them go faster, or make them a particular color. So what I did is
I don't have enough technology in my life.
well, and because I had to over-engineer something I probably could have bought for a lot less money. But what I had done is I took a shadow box frame and then took a piece of glass and then I fused black powder on it, and then I was going to basically etch away the powder and use that as an on-air sign. But it was nice because I needed to be able to turn it on and off from my studio, which is nowhere near the kitchen. Because Bobby keeps coming in and he'll slam doors and make lunch and stuff, and I'll be recording and I can hear it on the recording. So of course you have to make a custom box. You can't just go buy one. Mine looks good, but then you can just bring it up on the phone.
Interesting things I've seen on one of the 3D print sites, or maybe it came across my Pinterest feed, I don't know, was essentially this arc that you can create. You can 3D print the sections of it.
Yeah.
So however long you need it to be to create whatever size arc you want going over your workspace, and then you just attach LED lights to it. So you have this, well, no, think about the lighting that you can get. You can get actually 180 lighting over your workspace.
That's pretty cool.
That would be very handy.
Right? Yeah, and the thing I didn't realize too with this particular, the light strips, you can cut them and then there's actually pieces that join them into different shapes. So you can actually get all these connectors and you can make your little thin LED lights, whatever shape you want, and then you just peel and stick them on whatever it is that you want. So I didn't know that in the beginning, but if you were trying to do some special lighted box, you know, with glass or something.
That's exactly what that gentleman in our guild uses.
Is it?
Yeah, and it's just
cool.
amazing.
Now, I did find out though that remember that black is technically transparent. So when I coated this piece of glass with black powder, it's not technically blacked out. So I have another version that's spray painted, but I could imagine if you wanted to do a decorative one with a design, you could easily add LED lights to it. That would be fun. So, kind of like the lanterns. I don't know. But...
Hey, Kim?
Yes.
I've been thinking for a while, you ought to try and get Liz Walker to come and talk about how she combines her marbling with other pieces, because if you look at what she does with marbling, integrating it into pieces or marbling over pieces or under pieces, there's a lot of ideas people could get for using streakies in similar ways.
Interesting.
I wrote it down. So
do you think she'd talk with us?
I could ask her.
I would love that.
You want me to reach out to her?
Yes, that would be fabulous, Manny.
I mean, I think you've seen her work where she'll take a piece she marbled and then do a painting over the marbling and integrate it into the drawing or into the painting, or take something she's already done and then marble over it, and the effects are wonderful. And
right, I'm a Facebook friend. I see her stuff every day and it's just mind-boggling. Yeah, so beautiful.
Karen says to point out she owns a piece. I got her one for her birthday.
Oh, yeah, she's an amazing artist.
Right. Kim, did I ever get you your Richard Parrish piece?
No.
Okay, then it's still here.
I completely forgot about it. Thank you.
I think it's in the foyer.
Forgot about a Richard Parrish piece?
Seriously, Manny.
Oh, right. Well, he had that kind of spot sale, or what did he call that?
Video sale, yeah.
Yeah. So we jumped on it and I got a couple pieces, but Bobby wants to hang him in the hall and I'm like, Bobby's kind of accident prone. I should stop recording now. I don't want that on recording. But he'll bump into it with something and it'll be toast. So it's not going in the hallway. Probably not a good idea. But it's the ones that look like leaves where he's got the flow pieces. So anyway. Oh, and Jenny, you're in the class. Oh my goodness. You're in the flow class right now.
Yeah, Nathan's class.
Nathan Sandberg's class. So how are you enjoying that? How's the experience of taking it?
It's going I think it's going really well. You know, our biggest issues were the initial connection to Zoom kind of stuff, and wait a minute, the microphones were working yesterday, but they're not today, and you know, moving a speaker closer to the class so we can hear it better. So, you know, some of those they were minor things. You know, at one point I somehow got into Zoom safe mode on my phone and I don't know how, so I just cut out of I just dropped the meeting and restarted and it was fine. But
right.
You know, the goosenecks are working well. You know, so what we were doing is during like intros and while he was just kind of giving the lecture, we just had it on our faces because, you know, he's never met us. So that way, you know, he could see us kind of thing. And we kept our phones muted. And then when we got to working, you know, we turned the gooseneck down to our workspace. And when we wanted to talk to him, we'd unmute. So we'd have a little bit of an echo because of that, because we had the speaker on and that, but it wasn't too bad. It was one of those, you got kind of used to hearing yourself a fraction of a second later after you said something. but you know, the logistics of it, I think we're working really well. Now, I think if you were doing jewelry stuff, I'm not sure how well it would work, or we might need a different gooseneck.
Right.
Because the goosenecks were, I mean, they're stiff. You want them to be that because you don't want to have your
Right.
phone on there and it slowly falling down. But it did mean that to focus in on your workstation, we were still at a distance. Now, again, what we were doing was, you know, fairly large size. But if you had to look at like minutia detail, like at a cabochon or something like that, um, might need to do something else, or you know, pull it out of the gooseneck and hold it,
Yeah,
or
sure.
you know, there would be just be a little different logistic. But
Oh, cool. But working it out.
yeah, I mean, the technical glitches are very, very minor. You know, as I say, it's wait a minute, why can't you hear me on Zoom? Something on the laptop from the studio got reset somehow, so it was a matter of resetting those speakers and
And then
you know.
you said he has a switcher, so he's switching between views to show.
Yeah, at his studio or whatever studio he's using, he has a switcher, so he would switch between, you know, just kind of general workspace and himself, and then he had an overhead camera. So he would, while he was demonstrating stuff, he would switch to that overhead camera view.
Gotcha. And then that's the very first class at Helios that's doing kind of the remote teaching.
Right.
Right. So.
And so I think it's a good model.
Cool.
Going forward when you can't have a visiting instructor there. I mean, you do lose some stuff, like we weren't sitting around at lunchtime BSing and, you know, that sort of thing. So there's a little bit, at least at this moment in history, there's a little bit more, a little less give and take and joking around compared to, you know, being there in person with a visiting instructor. But
also more affordable too. It's I guess the price of that was less than if you traveled or went to a visit.
I'm not involved in pricing, so I wouldn't know that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you know, for somebody who, you know, when we're in a pandemic, or if somebody's like, I'd like to teach, but I just do not want to travel anymore because, you know, I spent 250 days on the road last year, kind of thing. You know, I think it's a reasonable alternative, and I don't feel I lost out on any material kind of information. The informal BSing is kind of the stuff that and you know, it might be one of those things as we get more comfortable with it.
Right.
That won't be such an issue. This was the first time, so you know.
I was looking to see if Carrie was still on here. I don't think Carrie's still on because I mean, if you take a class, you have to have the Carrie factor.
Yeah.
Carrie's our class clown. She's always the one getting everybody in trouble. So we have fun with that.
I don't want to take a class that doesn't have Carrie in it.
Yeah, I know. We just need to have her in there because she's entertaining.
Maybe it's the name.
What's that?
Maybe it's the name.
I think it is the name, definitely. Good call, Carrie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's cool. I mean, I know because when Kim and I were trying to teach, like when we were starting out with all of that, we were working through a lot of those issues as well.
Yeah. But, as I said, I you know, the technical issues were very minor.
Yeah.
All in all, and when in doubt, drop from your Zoom call and reconnect.
Oh,
yeah.
That's really what it was, and that would pretty much solve everything. So
yeah, we got to get doing that again sometime.
So Kat, how do you feel about doing a demo of Fusing Friday 2 weeks from now?
We could do it. I should actually, my course should be out by then. Yay!
I have an idea.
Uh-oh, what is it?
Well, I'd rather not say. I need to work a few bugs out, but it would be perfect. It would be perfect for a Fusing Friday demo that we could then put up on KimCat Glass as a free tutorial.
That sounds fun. I like that because we need to put a free tutorial out because we haven't done that in a while. And
yeah,
I always like free. Free is good.
Free's good. You know, and I've progressed with my 3D printing, so I'm now making things that I need, like a soap dish for the Dawn dishwashing detergent, and the other one, like I said, we have Apple TVs, and the remotes are like, you know, these little tiny remotes. So I made a thing to stick to the headboard of the bed to put the remotes in. So
Little remote holster.
it's kind of a remote holster. Although, hold on, I've got to see. Let me.
Hi, Tracy.
I think I got to show you the picture on this silly thing. It actually looks like a tape deck. Hold on, let me find it.
See, those things sound so good to me, but the reality is I end up falling asleep with my remote in my hand or something like that, and then rolling over and putting it over. So I'll never put it in the holster, or I may every once in a blue moon, but
that's
version 2.
That's
not where it's going to stay. It's going to stay somewhere on the bed.
Well, I was actually thinking too, it's like, wait, could I put a hole through the bottom of it and have a string and it has like a weight on the other side so it automatically puts itself. I'm like way over engineering this thing. And I wish I had it handy.
You over engineer something? Never.
Yeah, sorry about that. You guys know me. I tend to,
Well, I'm going to go ahead and duck out here. This has really been fun, ladies. Thank you so much.
It's so nice
Thanks
to meet
for joining
you.
See ya.
We'll see you soon. And we'll go check out the glass too.
Thank you for hosting this. I look forward to your next one.
Great. Sounds good. So Kelly, are you out too, or are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna, my wife just got her COVID shot. I'm gonna go check on her. So
oh, awesome.
You guys all take care and thank you.
You guys stay safe.
Congratulations on the shots. Yep.
Bye.
We'll
Take
see
care.
you soon.
Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for joining us.
So
we're here every other week.
Well, thank you. I'm actually Kirsten's East Coast glass buddy.
Oh.
And Kirsten could not come today.
Gosh.
So,
how's she doing?
She's doing really well. We kind of normally we visit 3-4 times East Coast, West Coast.
Right.
Kirsten is in Oregon, and in North Carolina. So normally we, and we went to South Africa together just before lockdown.
Oh my goodness.
Came back middle of March.
You went to Marguerite Benecke's studio, right?
Yes, we sure did.
Wow.
And we had a great time. Wonderful time. Real. Yes.
We road trip? Do we need to take a road trip?
Yes. Kirsten drove. And I forgot how many miles we drove. We drove across South Africa, all the way from Cape Town to the Karoo and back.
Oh,
it was terrific.
Need a road trip.